इस साइड बैच आया था, इस साइड बैच का है, इस साइड बैच कोई नहीं है। चैप्टर 1 कंप्लीट हो गया ना? ओपन चैप्टर नंबर chapter number 2, preparation of, hello, हेलो, आवाज आ रहा है कि नहीं? हेलो। चैप्टर नंबर 2, प्रिपरेशन ऑफ स्टेटमेंट ऑफ P&L and balance sheet. Before going to this chapter, I will cover Ind AS 1. Okay, Ind AS 1. Come to page number 390. Ind AS 1. This is in chapter number 5. Yes. To understand this chapter number 2 better, it is better to cover this Ind AS 1 first, then we will go to chapter number 2. Okay. What is the title of this Ind AS? Presentation of financial statements. Presentation of financial statements. Okay, this is a theory standard. You don't have any questions in this. I mean practical questions. This is a theory standard. You just have to understand how to present these financial statements. Okay, this is covered in this Ind AS 1. Okay, Ind AS 1, presentation of financial statements. What are financial statements? The end products of accounting. Yes or no? The ultimate end product. Okay, these financial statements in Ind AS 1 are called general purpose financial statements. What is this? General purpose. This is not specific to any user. This is in general for all the users. Understanding? Specific, if you prepare in the specific format to a particular user, that is called tailor-made financial statement. Tailor-made in the sense you are customizing for this particular user. Here in Ind AS, they are talking about general purpose financial statements. What are these? General purpose financial statements. Check here, meaning of general purpose financial statements. Can you read this? Yes. Mm. They are not tailor made because they are in general nature. Okay. Yes. So that's why these are called general purpose financial statements. Okay. In the introduction part, can you read the last line? Ind AS 1. Ind AS 1 presentation. Yeah. Mm. Yes, what Ind AS will do here, Ind AS 1 will specify majorly the principles of these general purpose financial statements, how balance sheet has to be prepared, how P&L has to be prepared. This Ind AS 1 is giving the guidelines and minimum requirements. Yes, minimum requirements. Say for example, you have to give balance sheet, P&L, yes, cash flow statement. Okay, all these are mandated in this Ind AS 1. That's why you have to prepare these financial statements as per the guidelines given in this Ind AS 1. Clear? Clear till now? Ha. Now, complete set of financial statements. Can you see this part? You read this part. Mm. Mm. Okay. 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 Mm. One second, one second. So indirectly, what are the complete set of financial statements here? There you have to give the balance sheet, you have to give the P&L. They have mentioned other comprehensive income. I'll discuss this part in the chapter 2. Okay. Then third one is what? Statement of changes in equity. What is the equity share capital and what are the different changes that happened during the year? What can be the different changes? You can buy back the shares. We have discussed in chapter number 1, yes. You can buy back the shares. You can issue fresh equity shares. So the total changes you have to give in a separate statement which is called SOCIE. You call this statement of changes in equity. Okay. And then cash flow statement and then notes to accounts. What are the significant accounting policies you are following? What are the accounting policies? Say for example, depreciation, which method you are following? SLM, WDV, yes. As per, inventory valuation, which method are you following? All these are accounting principles. So that accounting principles you have to give in a notes. This is called this notes, fifth part. Okay, and the sixth, what do you call sixth is called comparative balance sheet. What is this? Comparative balance sheet. Say for example, here balance sheet you are preparing for the financial year 23-24. Yes or no? Same, you have to give comparative balance sheet for the year 22-23. So that the users will compare last year कितना profit आया था, इस year कितना profit. Last year इस asset का value कितना है, इस year का इस asset का value कितना है. समझ गए? They will compare. So in the sixth point, write this word comparative balance sheet. Sixth point, what is that? Comparative balance sheet. Okay. These are the mandatory financial statements as per Ind AS 1. Clear? Come to page number 440. 440. Short essay type questions. First one, can you read the first question? This one. Okay. If you get any question from this Ind AS 1, that will be this sort of questions. Okay. Next we will, what is the next, I mean essay type questions, first one read that. Essay type question. No, second one is a different in days. Essay type question, first question, read. General features of financial statements. Come to page number 391. Page number 391. General features of financial clear. What are the different features of financial statements? Features, you can call it as characteristics, yes? Yeah, characteristics. What are the different characteristics? First one is true and fair view. True and fair view. You should not hide anything in the accounts. You should disclose everything. Accounts should be genuine. Okay? So then, based on these financial statements, users will make the decision whether to invest in the company or not. Yes or no? This is the first characteristic. True and fair presentation and compliance with Ind AS. Okay? Ind AS के साथ compliance भी होना चाहिए. I am using this symmetric symbol, Ind AS. Financial statements should be, what is this? Compliance. I am using this symmetric symbol, should comply with Ind AS. Yes? Okay, this is the first characteristic. Second one, going concern. You should prepare books of accounts assuming that your business will run in the near future, not that it will end somewhere tomorrow. Understanding? That is called going concern. In audit, you will be seeing this in Standards on Auditing 570. SA 570, in audit part, you will see this going concern. Okay? So this is going concern. This is the second feature. Third one, accrual. What is accrual? Accrual basis of accounting. Outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses. Yes? Income received in advance. Income receivable. All these four concepts are based on this accrual. Indirectly, when the expenses are incurred, you should record in the books of accounts, but not when the expenses are actually paid. Understood? Cash accounting, accrual accounting. Yes, so you should follow this accrual basis of accounting, not cash basis. This is the fourth feature, yes? Sorry, third feature. What is the fourth feature? Materiality. Okay? Materiality. What is this materiality? I would say an item or transaction is material if that could change the decision of the user. Understanding? Suppose a particular transaction happened. Say for example, 10 lakh rupees का कुछ purchase किया. That 10 lakhs amount is material or not, it depends on whether it influences the decision of the user. 10 lakhs obviously is a big amount, yes or no? It will definitely influence the user whether to invest in the company or not. Yes? Yes, say for example, go down loss. Fire accident हो गया, go down में 1 crore का loss आ गया. Do you think this is a material item or not? Material, yes. That's what I'm telling. Materiality depends upon whether that transaction is material or not. So all material transactions you have to disclose in the books of accounts. Understanding? Fifth one, offsetting. You should not offset any two transactions unless otherwise permitted in the accounting, I mean Ind AS or any accounting standard. What is offsetting? Say for example, there is discount received, there is discount paid. Yes? Discount paid is more, discount received is less. Say for example, discount paid, the organization has paid 20,000, discount received is only 10,000. You should not show 20,000 minus 10,000, net amount is 10,000, you should not show in that debit side of the P&L account. Only net amount you cannot show. Because offsetting is not permitted as per Ind AS. Yes, there are certain offsetting which you can do. Okay, say for example in P&L account you have this sales less excise duty. Sales less excise duty. What is this excise? Excise, duty levied on manufacturing of goods. Okay, that is a specific duty. So in from the sales you can reduce the excise duty. That is permissible. Okay, you have to understand that offsetting is possible only if it is given in the Ind AS, then you have to offset. Otherwise you cannot offset any item on your own. Understood? This is a feature of a financial statement. Then 6, frequency. Frequency of financial statements. Generally we will prepare financial statements for 1 year, yes or no? That, but Ind AS specifies you have to prepare financial statements for at least 12 months, I mean annually. At least 12 months you have to prepare the financial statements. Okay? Some person comes and tells you, I'll prepare financial statements for 15 months. For 15 months and then for another 15 months, no. Because Ind AS is telling frequency should be at least annually. Okay, so at least annually, they said at least annually. So shall I prepare for 6 months, 6 months? Yes, you can prepare, but you should provide the reason why you are giving for 6 months. Understood? Yes, frequency. Then next one, comparative information. Example, in the earlier question we have discussed 6th point, comparative balance sheet. This is called comparative information as per Ind AS. This point is very, very important. Come to this page number 392. Minimum comparative information. Read that point. Read that. इधर देखो, 2 बैलेंस शीट्स होना चाहिए, 2 P&Ls होना चाहिए, 2 कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट्स होना चाहिए, 2 सोसी होना चाहिए, 2 नोट्स होना चाहिए. समझ गए? तो इस ईयर का P&L अकाउंट करस्पॉन्डिंग लास्ट ईयर का P&L, इस ईयर का बैलेंस शीट करस्पॉन्डिंग लास्ट ईयर बैलेंस शीट, इस ईयर का कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट करस्पॉन्डिंग लास्ट ईयर कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट, इस ईयर का स्टेटमेंट ऑफ चेंजेस इन इक्विटी लास्ट ईयर का सेम, सो दैट यूजर विल कंपेयर. हो लास्ट ईयर से इस ईयर में प्रॉफिट 10% बढ़ गया, 20% बढ़ गया, तो ही विल एज्यूम दैट नेक्स्ट ईयर ऑल्सो 20% बढ़ जाएगा, ही विल इन्वेस्ट. तो लास्ट ईयर से इस ईयर 10% कम हो गया, तो he may doubt that this year also profit may go down by 10%, he may not invest. Understanding? So for this comparing, you have to provide this option of comparing, so you have to give this 2, 2, 2, 2 each. Understanding? Next. हाँ, in addition to this 2 you can give 3 also बोल रहा है, 3 बैलेंस शीट्स भी दे सकता है, last to last year, this year, but this has to provide 3. Ind AS has to permit this. Sir, when Ind AS is permitting, read this note. See here, 3 balance sheet, 2 P&L, 2 cash flow statement. Change in accounting policy. Say for example, till last year you are following SLM depreciation. This year you have changed it to WDV. This is called change in accounting policy. Then you have to definitely give 3 balance sheets. 2 P&Ls and 2 cash flow statements are sufficient. But you have to give 3 balance sheets. Understanding? Understanding? Yeah. Next, what is the next one? Consistency. 8th point is consistency. You have to be consistent in applying these accounting policies. Say for example, this year I am using SLM, next year I will use WDV, then next year I will switch to some FIFO basis, some weighted average basis. No. You have to be consistent in using the accounting policies. So if the financial statements comprise all these features, then only they are acceptable as per Ind AS 1. Understanding? See this once again: true and fair, view, going concern, materiality, accrual, offsetting, frequency, comparative information, and consistency. Clear? Clear? These are all the main points in Ind AS 1. There are certain disclosures. Come to 393, page number 393. Significant accounting policies. As I already mentioned, what are the major accounting policies you have to disclose in the notes to accounts. So these are all the disclosures under Ind AS 1. Sources of estimated uncertainty, any sort of assumptions, okay, where there are certain uncertainties. Sir, how much provision should I take on doubtful debts? This is uncertain, yes or no? So you have to make certain assumptions. So what are all the assumptions you have taken? You have to mention in the notes to accounts. Understanding? Capital management policies. Capital management policies is nothing but how the management is thinking about using the capital. Say for example, company is going to invest, diverge, or you say going into some other business. Suppose company is going to some other business in the next year. Yeah, you can mention that point in the notes to accounts. Okay. Generally, when company is diversifying, it can make huge profit. Yes or no? There are chances. So if you mention this point in the notes to accounts, users may read this point, and they may invest in the company. Understanding? So these are called capital management policies. Information regarding financial instruments. This is nothing but options, futures, everything. This we will discuss later on. Other disclosures. An entity shall disclose in the notes what they will disclose. Proposed dividend or declared dividend. Okay? Proposed dividend. How much dividend they are going to give. They can mention in the financial statements. Okay? All these all these are the disclosures, and this is all about Ind AS 1. Basically, Ind AS 1 target is that it will give the guidelines on how to prepare the financial statements. Clear? This is all about Ind AS 1. Now come to chapter number 2. Now come to chapter number 2. ये क्या हुआ? Come to chapter number 2. What is this? Preparation of statement of P&L and balance sheet as per what? Schedule 3. As per Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. Okay. Now Schedule 3 में you have two divisions. One is Division 1, other one is Division 2. Okay. Here you have Part 1, Part 2. Part 1 is balance sheet, Part 2 is P&L. Here also Part 1 is balance sheet, Part 2 is P&L. But what is the difference, sir? Here Division 1 is nothing but companies which are required to comply with accounting standards. Division 2 is nothing but companies which are required to comply with Ind AS. Understanding? Note down this. No, take this chart down. Chapter 2, we have in syllabus mainly preparation of statement of P&L and balance sheet. This is the main target in this chapter 2. Clear? Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013. We have two divisions. Earlier we have only one division, but later on this new division was introduced, which is Ind AS. Okay. Division 1 companies applies to companies which have to comply with the accounting standards. Okay. Say so small companies. I would say example, these are non-listing companies. For example, these are listed companies. Listed companies have to follow Ind AS. Non-listed companies, they need not follow Ind AS, they can follow EAS. This is one example. There are certain other limits also. You can check in the book. They have certain turnover limits also. Okay. To whom Division 1 is applicable, Division 2 is applicable. Understood? Division 1 is basically companies who has to follow EAS. Part 1, in this Schedule 3, they have given the balance sheet format. Part 1, Part 2, P&L format. Division 2 में Part 1 Ind AS balance sheet का format, Part 2 में P&L balance sheet, P&L Ind AS का format. So basically chapter 2 is full of formats. You have total 4 formats. This balance sheet format and this balance sheet are almost similar. You have certain differences. I'll explain the differences, okay? Similarly, P&L also you have formats. See the other chapter, banking companies, chapter number 4, banking, electricity and insurance companies, yes? Chapter 4. Chapter 4. What is the chapter 4? Read. Banking, electricity and insurance companies, to them, Companies Act is not applicable. Yes? For banking companies, you have a separate act called Banking Regulation Act. So this Companies Act is not applicable. So indirectly Schedule 3 is not applicable. So indirectly this Division 1, Division 2 is not applicable. So they have to prepare the financial statements of balance sheet P&L in the format prescribed in the Banking Regulation Act. Understanding? Similarly, insurance also. Insurance, you have another one act. Insurance. You have for insurance companies also, you have this Insurance Act 1938. Okay? Insurance Act 1938. So, this is not applicable. You have to follow that format. But for electricity companies, there is no separate act. You have to follow the Schedule 3 only. Understood? Understood? So, chapter 2 and 4 also linked. Nothing but you have here 4 formats. Similarly, in banking companies also you have different formats. Insurance also you have different formats. Normally you have done this balance sheet, right? I mean vertical balance sheet. I'll show the vertical balance sheet. You have this vertical balance sheet, huh? We have done this, na? Liabilities, assets. We have seen this, na? Here fixed assets, current asset, current liabilities, huh? Non-current liabilities, capital. We have seen this in sole proprietor, partnership, etc. Here in Schedule 3, only difference is that this is horizontal format, that is vertical format. How? You would start with liabilities, assets will come here. Understanding? Liabilities first, assets second. This is the vertical format. So as per Schedule 3, balance sheet will be in vertical format. That's the only difference. Clear? P&L account will also same. P&L account earlier we have seen P&L account. About trading account we have seen trading account, na? Trading account, P&L account, assume this one. Direct expenses. Yes, direct income, sales. Here we have gross profit. Yes. And then P&L account here, indirect expenses, indirect incomes, net profit. Yes. Here it will be, sales will come here. Sales less expenses, less indirect expenses. You will get profit here. I mean net profit. Vertical format. Understanding? This is the only difference. Target is that in chapter 2 and chapter 4, you have to just identify the items and park in the respective format. So mainly chapter 2 and chapter 4, format is the heart. You have to follow the exact format. Understanding? You have to see the head, subheading, everything you have to follow exactly. Okay? Now we will see the division 1 part, AS part. Come to page number how much? Page number 145. Page number 145. Following is the pro forma of the statement of P&L suggested in part 2 of division 1 of schedule 3. Yes, what is the part 1? Part 2 is P&L, yes or no? So part 2 division 1 schedule 3, clear? This is the P&L format. So what is the exact format? See here. First, what is the item? First item. First, you have to start with the name of the company. Say, for example, Oil India Limited. Statement of profit and loss for the year ended. You should not use as on. You have to use for the year ended because profit is determined for a particular period. Yes or no? Balance sheet is till date. Clear? हाँ. बगल में amount in rupees. You have to mention this specifically. Clear? Amount in rupees, amount in thousands, amount in lakhs, amount in crores, you have to mention. Clear? Then starting with particulars, note number. Very important point, note number. Yes? In that corresponding column, you give the note number. Say for example, depreciation. You have depreciation. There you will give note number. That in that note correspondingly below that balance sheet and everything, that portion is called notes to accounts. There you will mention what method are you following. We have discussed this in Ind AS just now. Yes. So that's why you have to give corresponding note number here. Then figures for the current reporting period. Yes, current reporting period in this current year. Assume financial year 2023-24. Starting from 1st April 23 to 31st March 24. Figures for the previous reporting period. This is called comparative financial information. We have already discussed, yes or no? So instead of giving two different balance sheets, they are giving two different columns. This is nothing but two P&Ls. Understanding? So this is for a previous reporting period. Example 22-23. Understood? What is the first item? Revenue from operations, bracket में लिख दो sales. What is that? Sales. Revenue from operations is nothing but sales. So P&L account, so the trading account starts first, credit side starts with what? Sales. Yes or no? So indirectly sales will come first and then other income. P&L account में other income आएगा, trading account में sales आएगा. Yes or no? Trading account credit side, you can see trading account here. P&L account here. Indirect income. Here sales आएगा ना. Opening stock, purchases, direct expenses, closing stock, gross profit. Indirect expenses, net profit. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now start with sales. Okay? And then indirect income. This is first. Second is indirect income. Understanding? Understanding? This is horizontal format, this is vertical format. Vertical format is in the sense top to bottom. Yes. Horizontal format is nothing but left to right. Understanding? Yes. So format, see the format sales, then other income. 1 plus 2 is called total income. Understanding? Add these both, you will get total income. Clear? Clear till now? Now comes the expenses part. Sir, what happens to closing stock? I'll explain. Closing stock, this we will reduce from debit side. Yes or no? This is a creditor, na? So if you reduce from debit side, indirectly same effect. So sales plus indirect income, now expenses part you have to reduce. Yes or no? Now see the expenses part. Cost of materials consumed. If you have any raw materials, this is called cost of materials consumed. Okay. Second is purchases, this part. This is a trading concern. If you have a manufacturing account, above this trading account, you have to prepare manufacturing account also. You have seen in costing. Have you seen in costing? Raw materials, labor, direct materials, direct labor, direct expenses, prime cost, add factory overheads, factory cost, all these. Cost of production, till cost of production, you will prepare manufacturing account, yes or no? So this cost of materials consumed, this is called material cost. Now purchases of stock in trade, this part. Okay. Next, changes of inventories of finished goods. Changes in inventories, indirectly nothing but opening stock minus closing stock. Here. Understanding? This closing stock I am taking here, this closing stock I am taking here. So opening stock से minus कर रहा हूँ. Opening stock minus closing stock, this is called changes in inventories. Inventory is nothing but stock. So changes in stock. Changes in stock is nothing but opening में कितना है, closing में कितना है, difference क्या है, that is called changes. Understanding? बगल में लिख दो opening stock minus closing stock. Clear? Next, employee benefit expenses. Can you guess what is this expense? Employee benefit expense. Can you guess what is this? Wages, salaries, all these are called employee benefit expenses. बगल में लिख दो salaries, wages, etc. Okay? Finance cost. Can you guess this finance cost? No. Administrative only, but can you directly specify the cost? Interest payment. Interest जो बैंक लोन लेते हैं हम इंटरेस्ट पे करना है, that is called finance cost. बगल में लिख दो interest, बैंक interest on bank loan etc. तो इंटरेस्ट कहाँ आएगा? P&L अकाउंट में आएगा, ठीक है. हियर दिस परचेजेस इधर आएगा, डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस में एम्प्लॉय बेनिफिट है, एक्सपेंसेस आएगा, वेजेस, सैलरीज इधर आएगा इनडायरेक्ट में, जो दोनों मिला के मैं इधर डाल रहा हूँ. समझ गए? इनकम टोटल करके मैं छोड़ दिया, अभी एक्सपेंसेस पूरा मैं टोटल करना पड़ेगा. समझ गया ना? दिस इज हॉरिजॉन्टल, दिस इज वर्टिकल, दैट्स द ओनली डिफरेंस, रेस्ट एवरीथिंग इज सेम. क्लियर? हाँ. Depreciation, here in P&L na, indirect expense, depreciation. Amortization, similar to depreciation. Amortization you will call it for intangible assets. Depreciation is for tangible assets. Okay. Then other expenses. All other expenses you have to add. Okay. Now add the total expenses. Okay. Yes. Point number 4 is total expenses. Point number 3 is total income. Okay. Now total income minus total expenses, you will get this. Look here, you will get this net profit directly. But here you call it as profit before exceptional and extraordinary items under tax. Okay. Net profit here as per AS Schedule 3, as per Part 2. You have to call it as profit before exceptional, extraordinary and tax. Clear? Now, if you have any exceptional items, you have to reduce here. Then it profit before extraordinary items and tax. Then you have to reduce extraordinary items, reduce or add. It can be any way. Okay. Then it comes to PBT, profit before tax. Understanding? Exceptional, extraordinary items we will discuss later on. Okay. What are exceptional, what are extraordinary events? This is discussed in EAS 5 actually. I'll explain that later on. Okay. PBT. Till now what is that? PBT. Yes. Minus tax. What it comes to PAT. Correct na? Tax expense. Profit or loss from the period from continuing operations. Okay. Tax, जो टैक्स एक्सपेंस जो रिड्यूस किया है उसके बाद एक्चुअली प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स आना चाहिए, बट दैट प्रॉफिट यू हैव टू डिस्टिंग्विश इनटू कंटिन्यूइंग ऑपरेशंस, डिसकंटिन्यूइंग ऑपरेशंस. Sir, what is this? Say for example, company is having 2-3 branches. One particular branch you are going to discontinue. You have to disclose that discontinuing branch's profit separately. Understanding, na? हाँ, profit or loss from discontinuing operations, tax expense of discontinuing operations, profit or loss from discontinuing operations after tax. तो net last में जो आएगा वो called profit or loss for the period. Understanding? उसके बाद एक और है, देख लीजिए EPS, विच इज नथिंग बट अर्निंग्स पर शेयर. जो ऊपर जो प्रॉफिट आया था उसको डिवाइडेड बाय नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स करने से अर्निंग्स पर शेयर आएगा. दिस पैट इज टोटल अर्निंग्स. डू यू एग्री? टोटल अर्निंग्स, से फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस इज 10 lakh rupees. There are 1 lakh shares. Per share how much was the earning? 10 rupees. That is called EPS, earnings per share. Basic EPS, diluted EPS, we will discuss this in Ind AS 33 EPS part. I'll explain you that later on, okay? Totally, this is the format. You have to follow this format exactly. Clear? Now come to balance sheet format also. Page number 150. 150. Part 1. Following is the pro forma balance sheet suggested in part 1, division 1, schedule 3. Clear? Clear? Now I'll explain the balance sheet. See here. Balance sheet. This is the vertical format, liabilities, assets, yes, fixed assets, current assets, current liabilities, non-current liabilities, capital. Yes or no? This is the vertical format left to right. Now as per AS schedule 3 you have to prepare balance sheet. Okay. See here, particulars, name of the company Oil India Limited, balance sheet as at, not for the year ended. You have to understand the difference. Huh? As at, okay, rupees in, amount in rupees, amount in thousands, amount in lakhs, crores, you have to mention. Okay. Then particulars, note number. Here also you have different notes. Figures for current reporting period, figures for previous reporting period. This is called comparative balance sheet. Indirectly, this format has two balance sheets. Understood? Next, equity and liabilities. Equity and liabilities. Not just liabilities. Here they are calling it as equity and liabilities. You have to understand this difference. Then first point, here you see, this is the first heading 1. In that first heading you have subheading 1, which is called shareholder funds. Understanding? Shareholder funds. In that you have another subheading A, which is called share capital. B, reserves and surplus. C, money received against share warrants. Come to page number 157. Share warrants, in case of listed companies, read that. I'll explain this. What is this share warrants? Indirectly, they are issued to promoters. Promoters are nothing but who are incorporating the company. So these share warrants are not shares, okay, but they can be converted into shares in the future. Understanding? So this is future share capital indirectly. Understanding? So that's why C, what is this? Money received against share warrants. Understanding? Money received against share warrants. Now here first part is done, now second part. Understanding? Heading, subheading, sub-subheading. Exactly you have to follow this format only. If you ignore this part, this has no value. If you ignore this part has no value. Understanding na? So clearly dekh lo. Share application money pending allotment. Share application money pending allotment. We have seen in first chapter. Shares issue किया है, वो लोग अप्लाई किया है, अलॉट नहीं किया अभी तक. समझ गया? सोच लीजिए इश्यू किया है 20th मार्च में, 31st मार्च तक तो एप्लीकेशन मनी आ गया लेकिन अलॉट नहीं किया, तो 1 अप्रैल में अलॉट किया, तो 31st मार्च तक इस मनी को क्या करना है, शेयर कैपिटल में डाल सकते हैं क्या? नहीं, इस सेपरेट हेडिंग में डालना पड़ेगा. क्या है ये? शेयर एप्लीकेशन मनी पेंडिंग अलॉटमेंट. Suppose allotment is after the financial year, then you have to write this amount here. In 2, what is the third heading? Non-current liabilities. See here, capital. This whole part is capital till now. Now non-current liabilities. Understanding na? What are the different non-current liabilities? Long-term borrowings. Say for example, bank loan for 10 years. Cash credit loan, term loan for 10 years. That is called long-term borrowing. Understanding na? हाँ. Deferred tax liabilities, we will discuss this later on. Group 1 में हमने accounting standard में देखा है, S22 में. Deferred tax asset, deferred tax liability, if you remember. Okay, that deferred tax liability comes here. Other long-term liabilities, long-term provision. Okay, these are all long-term liabilities here. Indirectly non-current liabilities. उसके अंदर कितना है देख लीजिए, 4 है. समझ गया? Similarly, 4th one, current liabilities. This part. Understanding? Current liabilities में opposite quite long term का इधर short term होगा. Yes. Trade payables is nothing but creditors. बगल में लिख दो creditors. Okay. Other current liabilities. Other current liabilities. Any other liabilities. What can it can be? हाँ. Short term provisions. ऊपर में long term provision, नीचे short term provision. Clear? Till now this liabilities part is done. Now we are going into assets part. So नीचे लिखना है अभी assets. इसका नीचे assets होगा. Understanding the difference? Assets इधर नहीं लिखेगा, इधर लिखेगा. क्या कुछ doubt है क्या? Assets इधर नहीं लिखेगा, नीचे लिखेगा. नीचे देख लो assets. Assets में क्या है? Fixed assets को क्या बोल सकता है? Non current assets भी बोल सकता है. समझ गया? Fixed assets can also be called as non current assets. These are current assets. So non current assets, उसके नीचे देख लो subheading PPE and intangible assets. उसके अंदर एक और subheading PPE as per AS 10, plant property, plant and equipment. Okay, machinery, plant and machinery वगैरह सब इसमें आएगा. All tangible assets इसमें आएगा. हाँ. Next, intangible assets. Okay. Third one is capital work in progress. Sir, what is this capital work in progress? Building under construction. Capital work in progress. Okay. Company has acquired some land. Construction is going on. Total building ready नहीं हुआ है. Construction is going on. This is called capital work in progress. Building under construction लिख सकते हैं बगल में, bracket में. Intangible assets under development. Company has a separate R&D section. What is this R&D? R&D, research and development. They do research. Huh? What the research के क्या होगा? कुछ formula होगा, yes or no? They'll find some formula. They'll find some new formula, etc. Yes. So that is called intangible assets under development. Similar to capital work in progress. Building construction में है, nothing but tangible asset construction में है. Intangible assets under development nothing but intangible assets under construction. Understanding ना? Tangible intangible में फ्यूचर में कुछ पेटेंट आएगा, फ्यूचर में कुछ कॉपीराइट आएगा इस रिसर्च के कारण, उन सबको इधर इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स अंडर डेवलपमेंट में डालना पड़ेगा. अंडरस्टूड. नेक्स्ट नॉन करंट इन्वेस्टमेंट, इसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट्स भी होगा इधर. इन्वेस्टमेंट्स एग्जाम्पल फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट, गोल्ड बॉन्ड्स कुछ खरीद लिया है, these are all investments. Non-current investment, deferred tax assets. In liabilities you have seen deferred tax liabilities, here deferred tax assets. Understood. Long-term loans and advances. What are they? Long-term loans and advances. Other non-current assets. Loans and advances is nothing but company is giving loan to someone. कंपनी इज नॉट टेकिंग द लोन, कंपनी इज गिविंग लोन. कंपनी लोन दे रहा है मतलब उसको इंटरेस्ट आएगा, यस और नो. सो इंटरेस्ट आएगा मतलब दिस इज एन एसेट. अंडरस्टैंडिंग ने. अदर नॉन करंट एसेट, एनी अदर नॉन करंट एसेट विच इज लॉन्ग टर्म इन नेचर, नॉट शॉर्ट टर्म. अंडरस्टैंडिंग. हाँ. नेक्स्ट करंट एसेट्स. क्लियर. सब हेडिंग में क्या है? करंट इन्वेस्टमेंट्स. नॉन करंट इन्वेस्टमेंट इज नथिंग बट विच मेच्योर आफ्टर 1 year. Current investments which mature within 1 year. Say for example FD maturing in 31st March 2025. This is non-current investment. FD maturing in 31st March 2024. This is a current investment. Understanding na? Maturing nothing but you understand maturing na? Ha, that is the example. Inventories. Last 3 generally I would remember with this notation ITC. You know ITC ना? Indian इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट एक है, ITC कंपनी भी है ना. हाँ, जो ये टोबैको वगैरह बनाते हैं, इंडिया टोबैको कंपनी. आई विल रिमेंबर इन दिस मैनर. इन्वेंट्रीज, ट्रेड रिसीवेबल्स, कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट्स. बगल में आप लिख सकते हैं ITC. क्या था? इन्वेंट्रीज इज नथिंग बट क्या है? बगल में लिख दो स्टॉक, क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. इन्वेंट्रीज का बगल में स्टॉक होगा. ट्रेड रिसीवेबल्स इज नथिंग बट हम लोग को आएगा, उसको क्या बोलते हैं? ट्रेड पेएबल्स को क्या बोलते हैं? नहीं, लाइबिलिटीज में ट्रेड पेएबल्स के बगल में क्या लिखा है? ट्रेड रिसीवेबल्स क्या होगा? डेटर्स होगा. ब्रैकेट में लिख दो डेटर्स. कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट्स क्या होगा इसमें? कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट्स, कैश बैलेंस, बैंक बैलेंस. ओके. एफडी मैच्योर्ड इसको भी बोल सकते हैं. मार्केटेबल सिक्योरिटीज बोलते हैं. इस 3 को कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट्स बोलते हैं. वी विल सी दिस इन cash flow statement. I'll explain this once again in cash flow statement. Okay. What are the 3 in cash and cash equivalents? Cash balance, bank balance and marketable securities. Marketable securities in the sense which can be readily sold in the market. Securities which can be readily sold in the market, they are called marketable securities. Understood? And then short term loans and advances. These are all this is the total format of balance sheet. अंडरस्टूड ना. लाइबिलिटीज, उसके नीचे एसेट्स. सब कुछ नहीं रहेगा. सब में कुछ आइटम्स रह सकते हैं, कुछ आइटम नहीं रह सकते. लेकिन अगर हाँ, जो नहीं रहेगा उसको छोड़ सकते हैं, लेकिन फॉर्मेट एग्जैक्टली फॉलो करके ब्लैंक रख दो. उधर जिस आइटम नहीं है उधर नील रख दो या 0 रख दो. हाँ, पूरा फॉर्मेट याद करो. क्वेश्चन जो भी आएगा उसमें अमाउंट डाल दो, बैलेंस शीट टैली हो जाएगा, P&L टैली हो जाएगा. हाँ, यस. फॉर्मेट पूरा डाल दो. क्वेश्चन पेपर देखो, फॉर्मेट डाल दो. डालने के बाद अमाउंट भर दो उसमें. बस जो नहीं है ब्लैंक है, बैलेंस शीट टैली हो जाएगा. फॉर्मेट के लिए वो फिक्सेडली 2-3 मार्क्स देगा. समझ गया? अगर फॉर्मेट करेक्ट होने से. सो सिमिलरली इन चैप्टर 4 ऑल्सो सभी फॉर्मेट्स अगर बायट करेगा, मतलब याद रखेगा, प्रैक्टिस करेगा अच्छे से, ईजी है. सो चैप्टर 2, चैप्टर 4 मेन 2 चैप्टर्स फॉर्मेट्स ही है, तो ईजी है. आई वुड से इट लूप होल इन ग्रुप 2. फॉर्मेट याद रखो, जाओ भर दो फिगर्स. ठीक है हाँ. Now take this sum homework. One sum I'll give for homework. Take this sum for homework. I'll explain tomorrow, but try to do on your own. What is this sum? Sum number 5. Question number 5, take it for homework. Page number 178. Question number 5, page number 178. Take it for homework. Try to do on your own. This question they are asking you to prepare balance sheet and P&L as per division 1 of schedule 3. Division 1 is nothing but accounting standard, yes or no? So as per this, see the format, place the values there. Okay? In the question you have notes also. See the notes also, try to do it. I'll check your book tomorrow. Huh? Try to do it. If you have any doubt, I'll explain the sum tomorrow again. Clear? Today we have discussed Ind AS 1 and this chapter 2, division 1, balance sheet P&L format. Clear na? Okay, thank you. अरे